Episode 97. Are these comics going to make great television shows or movies in the future? We got Green Lantern, we got Red Sonja, Empire of the Damned, and we got Shazam number 6. Let's check them out right now. All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me as we rant about movies and comic books and television shows and get lots of comments when I don't like something. I love it. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. Hopefully about to get back to work generally soon. I think in May I have a film beginning in May. I'm back in LA. And but yeah, we're going to talk about these comics. But before we do, make sure you give me a like and a subscribe. Yeah, I'm trying to grow the channel out, so any kind of interaction, comments, etc. You know, call me whatever names you want. It only helps. I appreciate it. All right, and if you are a budding writer or filmmaker, you want to do a short, you want to do an independent film, you want to do a web series, whatever, I am going to be doing a class before I leave for LA on the 20th and the 21st of April, so in a couple of weeks from now. There is an early bird special going on right now for $30 off. You just have to type early bird into the thing when you check out. It is going to be a weekend course, so it is 3 hours on Saturday and 3 hours on Sunday. And yeah, we're going to talk about how to write to a certain budget, how to budget your film, how to schedule it, how to crew it. And then I am going to have Scott DuPont did say he was going to come in and talk about active financing. So it's going to be lots of fun. We're going to be going over a lot of different things, and so you can be knowledgeable next time you go out on set. The description below has the link if you want to check out that at Eventbrite. All right, so let's jump right back into Green Lantern. So this book doesn't come out till Wednesday. I was able to get it early. It is written by my friend Jeremy Adams. And he is a very talented writer. If you haven't read his, Flash run, and then now he's on Green Lantern. He also did a animated piece for the Super Sons, which was really good as well. If you haven't seen that, that's really good. So I like the direction he's going. It feels like a Green Lantern book. It's doing something a little bit different. He's trying to put a lot of characters in here, which I appreciate. But it has some technical problems from the offshoot of what the powers are and things to that effect. So I'm not sure that when he plotted this out, if he realized that he had an error in him. See, that's the problem with editors nowadays. Comic editors don't care. So they let things go when they should be picking up on it. Before I even start, let me just jump into what's happening in the story. So Hal has been stuck on Earth. There's the Oa, the Guardians of Oa are now gone, and they've been taken over by the United Planets, not the United Federation of Planets, just the United Planets, who have a secret where they can change their color of their ring at will. So it's all the emotional spectrum. Rage being red and that kind of thing, green being will, yellow being fear, all that stuff. And so he finally gets off planet, and because the ring he had was only created by will, so it really wasn't a ring. It was only in a circumference or a proximity to the battery that was under Earth in a hollow Earth situation. But anyway, he was able to get a new ring. And now he went off to try to figure out what's going on. And when he ran into this battle, he landed on the planet and found Jo, I think her name is, which is another human. There's too many human Green Lanterns. It's crazy. Who basically says, hurry up or you're going to get found. And that's where we're at right now. So, we have this kind of recap where they're hiding. And she says, quick, get into the hole, but you can't use this is where I have a problem. So she says, you cannot use your ring powers at all. And because if you do, then they can track us. Okay, here's my biggest problem right off the bat. What are they wearing? They're wearing the uniforms. Where does the uniforms come from? It comes from the power of their rings. As soon as their rings go offline, what happens? They revert back to civvy clothes. You see the problem? They're automatically, throughout this entire issue, using the ring's power. It's a passive power, but it is still a power. Therefore, they can be tracked according to the rules set in this issue. See? It's in the back of my head. I'm like, there's a problem here. There's a problem. So anyway, she throws him into the little shaft, and she even compliments him, saying, you didn't use your powers because there was a, whatever was at the end of that shaft, whether it was the fans or whatever, stopped their descent, and then they were able to, jump onto one of the floors. And but she even compliments him, saying, thank you for not using your powers and not questioning me. Well, you are using your powers. You're using it to create your uniform. So anyway, so we get to see the Resistance base, and here's where I'm saying that we have a lot of the characters that are being brought in. So Kyle is on the bottom. He has this conversation with Kyle. We get a little flashback of them, kind of getting out of Dodge and having a problem with the United Planets, etc. I don't know if that's Solak. I forgot who the character was at the Multi-Arms. But he used to deal with communications and stuff like that. But anyway, she brings him over to see this new battery that has all of the emotional spectrums in it. Why isn't it shaped like a battery? I don't know. How does it have everything in there? Because I thought there was like an organism that created the emotional spectrum for the battery. So there's a lot of stuff that a lot of the lore is just being kind of tossed aside here. But anyway, we see one of the United Planets turns into red, and he kind of pushes him into the battery. So I guess that's what they're using to charge the battery, is they're using people. So I don't know. But anyway, Jessica Cruz is working as a double agent. She's working for them. And at the same time, she's also feeding Joe and the rest of the Resistance that are stationed on this planet, which would be smart for them to have the Resistance on the planet, because the emotional spectrum battery is there, even though they're not using their powers. When they do, they'll be able to feed right off the battery and recharge. And so that's smart. So, I mean, the artwork here is really good. So now we change to later where they're looking for the science cells, and now they're both wearing these cloth things, which means now he altered his costume using the ring. Jeremy, what are you doing, man? So anyway, we're now looking for the science cells, and he says, yeah, this is my science cell, or whatever. I guess she was kept there for a little while. But then they get to Kelly, and I guess she's like Kid Lantern. I know nothing about this character. But again, he's trying to use as many of the Green Lantern characters as possible. And he's like, we're going down there. We're gonna mess them up. We're gonna mess them up. And he's like, no, we can't go down, and we can't win that battle. It doesn't matter. We're gonna kick the butt. And he does it. He's like, we're gonna butt kick. Yeah! And everybody's like, oh, come on, man. What happened to stealth here? Hal, what are you doing? But I got to hand it to Jeremy. This is something Hal would do. Hal would not be able to control himself. So there is kudos for that. I do have a problem here where he says, I need information about how many people are in there, blah, blah, blah. And then he kills one of them. I don't think that's something Hal would do, unless the guy's not dead. But we should have seen it, that he wasn't dead. But anyway, so Joe ends up fighting these sentinel creatures or manhunters or whatever the hell they are. And we got this whole battle take place, which he put his whole team in danger without a plan. So not much of a leader there, Hal. But then again, he never really was. He's always been the hothead. So yeah. But it's funny that that's why he's a pilot and not on the ground. But anyway, so they take prisoners basically. But after all that, they lose Kelly. Kelly is taken somewhere else. So they take them out of the science cells, and I guess Kelly's the key to something here. So there's that. And Jessica, I forgot what Jessica was doing there. Chamber of the Unseeing. Oh, right. She goes to see. That's right. She goes to see the seers. Because even though they're mentally controlling other things, they want them to find the rebellion, basically, if you want to put it that way. They're out to find the rebellion. And they're like, we know where they are, and they're like, blindfolded and stuff like that. And there's 3 of them. So there's that. So yeah, and then we get this backup story about Guy looking for the main man and all this stuff. And Jeremy actually wrote this one, but again, this has to do with the House of Brainiac stuff, of which I don't care. So yeah, it's I like it. I like the fact that we're seeing all the characters. I like the fact that now we're trying to be stealthy, but Hal breaks it all by acting like himself. It's just 2 things. Why is the battery a globe? Doesn't make any sense. And then why are they using their passive powers and nobody can track them? Why aren't they reverting back to normal? And is the planet even breathable? Because their ring allows them to breathe. It also translates languages. So are they all speaking English? These are all passive powers that would attract someone if they were digging around looking for a Green Lantern. And maybe he'll address it. I don't know, but it seems like they were pretty stupid by not realizing that their rings could do that. But yeah, overall it's good. Just have some technical problems. And if we're going to show everybody, I think that Carol should turn back into a Star Sapphire. I'm just saying. All right, so let's jump into, this is the end of the arc. This is the last one I collected for Shazam, signed by Mark Waid. And again, this ends the arc which has been kind of silly. It's really a silly story. That's why I didn't continue it. I'm not really collecting anything Mark Waid's doing anymore because he's kind of got a bad name in comics now, even though he's a decent writer. But this was, I don't know about this. This is just silly. This is really written for kids, I think. And but anyway, the gods have been not only giving them his powers, like Shazam. The letters mean the gods' names, and the wisdom of Solomon, and the strength of Hercules, and all this other stuff. So they're actually giving them their negative things, like their pompousness or whatever. So he stopped using his powers because he was afraid that he was going to say something that was just bad. So now all the rest of the family doesn't have their powers, and he and Freddy are up to something. So they're on the Rock of Eternity. All the gods are there. Freddy's like, I'll take the powers if he doesn't want them. And he's just like, follow my lead. And they just physically fist fight. And they're like, what? The gods are like, what's going on here? And I don't know if they're buying time, whatever else, but the rest of their family comes in, and he gets electrocuted, Zeus. And I don't know, right, here comes the rest of the family, and they're all using items of the gods that are giving them basically temporary powers as long as they're holding it, and the gods just laugh at them. Because they're children, holding, these relics or whatever. So anyway, the kids attack the gods, and of course we also have the alien dinosaur, which I think is completely silly. So she's got the helmet, she's using it like a bullet girl, and basically they're hitting the gods, and they're really not really hurting the gods, they're just more pissing them off than anything else. Zeus is like, enough of this stuff already, you children. Don't make me beat you in the head and put you in timeout. But I guess Eugene I think that's Eugene, turns him into a duck. And the duck gives him the finger, like, what are you doing? It looks like Donald Duck. But they're buying time because Billy has a plan. Billy goes off to talk to the wizard. And I got to pass through several things here. We're continuing the battle, but this is the page I really wanted to talk about. So he goes to see the wizard, and he said, hey, I don't think I got enough wisdom. So basically, I think Mark Waid was kind of playing off the movies where they made him, because like in the original show and the original everything, like the original comics, he literally acted like an adult. He didn't act like a kid. And I think that Mark Waid was playing off that where he didn't get enough wisdom. Even the last movie said, I don't think we got the wisdom part. So he asked the wizard to up the wisdom, to find out, basically contact the soul of Solomon or whatever, and up the wisdom side. And he said, all right, let me find out if I can do that. And meanwhile, Zeus is I think that's Hercules, actually. They're over it. So he finally turns back into Shazam now after talking to the wizard. And Zeus is like, I command you! I will command you! And he's like, yeah, no, you're not commanding me at all ever again. He said, I'm too smart for that now. So now he's acting like an adult. So I think that's the whole thing, is that he was trying to write the character to what he was before. But anyway, the gods finally concede and leave. And now we switch back to the dinosaur aliens, and they're like, something's coming up on our ship, because they went and picked up the accountant guy. The alien dinosaur was an accountant, just like whatever. And I guess they ended up flying into Kandok space, and there's Black Adam saying, get out of my airspace before I have to make you. Movie or television show? No. No. First of all, we'll probably never see another Shazam movie again in my lifetime, unless they bring him into something like a Justice League movie or something to that effect, Crisis on Infinite Earths or whatever. But no, this whole story has been completely juvenile. So anyway, and we don't even get to see Mary, because for the most part, Mary was in the last issue, but for the most part, she was on doing her own book at the time. So I kind of like Mary Marvel better than I like Captain Marvel. You can't call him Shazam, by the way. He says, hi, I'm Shazam. He would just change back to a child. So he can't say his own name. You can't call him that. And that's why Marvel taking Captain Marvel, which was Shazam's real name. Now they just call him the Captain. Whatever. All right, so I really like Red Sonja, and I really liked what Thorne Grunbuck was doing. So I decided to pick this up. This is called Empire of the Damned, #1, and I probably shouldn't have. Because I was so used to the Thorne Grunbuck one. I really like it. I like what's going on with Cool and Goth. I really like the story it came out of. We were left with a pretty thick, what do you call it, cliffhanger in the last one. So I was like, yeah, let me click maybe the Village of the Damned. Maybe it's like a zombie thing or whatever else, which would be kind of cool. So we don't get any of that. Yeah, so we have this nice countryside. The artwork I really don't like here at all. It's written by Steve Niles and Alessandro Amoroso. I don't know. So it starts out decent. So we have this battle going on. There's a wizard up top, and he is basically he kind of upped it up to 11 and made a deal with them, but the deal that he didn't say what it would really cost them. But I guess he kind of double-crossed everybody. Everybody ended up killing each other. And so his goal was to take everyone's souls, which he started doing. So then we swap now into who knows how many years later, but I guess the wizard is gone and left whatever behind, which we don't know yet. And we switched over to this bar where we have Sonja just kind of hanging out, drinking a beer. And this guy buys her a beer, and she pours it out. That doesn't sound like Sonja at all. I don't think what the problem is this writer doesn't know Sonja. Sonja would never turn down a beer, no matter who did it. Would she talk? Because she's not against talking to men. Because, I mean, when she's done with them, yeah, she'll say, okay, see you later. But she doesn't know when the next job is coming, so she wouldn't really act this rude to someone. So this is not Sonja. So anyway, the police come in, the guards, they are just basically police. You're shut down. You know, your music's making too much noise. You got to turn it down. Tell the DJ to turn it down. He says, we're closing you guys up. And she says, he says, no, you got to leave. She says, I'll do it when I'm good and ready. And she punches the guy for no reason. He hadn't even drawn a sword on her or anything. Again, that's not Sonja. Sonja would not just punch somebody in the face unprovoked. Especially just somebody just doing their job, you know. So we end up having a full battle now that she started, and now she's killing them for no reason. They were just doing their job to close a bar down, and now we're going to leave kids without their dad. It's just awful. So she gets thrown into prison, rightfully so, and they're about to cut their heads off. And they have a plan to get out. And the guy's like, look, if we team up, I have a plan to get money. And I need help, so you can help me. And she's like, yeah, all right, whatever. It's better than getting my head cut off. So anyway, again, they beat the same guys up again to get out. They take the keys. Of course, you can't, because that's about as, tropey as you can get that's never been done 10 million damn times. And, they get out, and again, they kill people for no reason. Again, just doing their jobs. They're not evil people. And then they have archers, so now they're trying to get out, and they're being shot. And he takes a couple in the back. He dies and gives her the map to the wizard's whatever. Trevor Trove, or whatever. And she just leaves him there and says bye. Wow. This is just horrendous. This is horrendous writing. So we start out with a good premise, and then we go into a bar fight, and then the guy dies and she leaves. That's everything that happens. You couldn't go anywhere else with this story other than a bar fight? We don't even need it. All we need to have them do is say, hey, I have this map. I need help. You're a hottie. You're good with a sword. I've heard rumors about you. Let's go. And now we just started out. It doesn't matter. All the rest of the bullshit doesn't even need to be in there. This is bad writing. This is bad writing. Go for the trope rather than the story. Why? So, no. Unfortunately, and I won't be collecting that anymore either. That was a one and done mistake. $5 mistake right there. And Shazam, nope, just a little bit too kiddie for me. And then we have Green Lantern. Yeah, I like where this is going. I just think that it needs the holes filled in about how this works. Because in one line he could have fixed it. In fact, I may say this to him. I don't know how many he's written out. All he has to say is that they can't detect passive powers. Like once they start using large amounts of energy, they can pick that up. But our little passive powers, I am going to tell him that they can't pick it up, because that solves the problem, and that it eats at my brain. Knowing that there's this problem. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And let me know what you guys think. And what are you guys reading? Are you guys, are you guys excited for Wolverine and Deadpool? That's really the next comic book movie we got going on. And yeah, if you're into learning some stuff about television and movies and how it's done, and on the business side, then definitely join me. We do have an early bird special again for $30 off. It is an entire weekend where I'm going to go. Well, it won't be an entire weekend. It's only 3 hours a day. But anyway, the description below has a link. You can check out some of my reels and some of my other trailers for stuff that I've done and things to that effect. And I'm also on Amazon if you're looking for anything I've written. In fact, a couple of things are behind me. But all right, thanks again for watching. And give me the thumbs up. Give me a middle finger. Tell me to go screw myself. It's all good. All right, and check out some of my other videos as well. And if you're into card games at all, or if you're into any games at all, or if you're into classic monsters, or even if you're into classic monster art, the Mark Spears, who just did a cover for Kneel Before Zod, I just noticed that. But he's done stuff for Vampirella. He's done all this stuff. He's done Power Rangers, Spawn, all covers for all this stuff. But anyway, he had a whole bunch of classic monster art, and we're doing a card game based on that, and where you're going to be able to play as a monster. It's going to be lots of fun. Anyway, again, check out some other videos when you leave, and we're going to pop up here at the very end. And again, you guys have a fabulous week. All right, talk to you soon.